Tonight, pop-up vaccination sites open across the Spencer Gulf for a weekend jab blitz, while tourism heads call for the state government's reopening roadmap to be released.
From our 7 Spencer Gulf studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. A statewide vaccination blitz took place over the weekend, with a focus on making it as easy as possible for locals to get the jab. Figures showing over 14,000 South Australians were vaccinated on Saturday.
A super weekend for walk-ins. The Flinders and Upper North Health Network establishing pop-up COVID-19 vaccination clinics across the region. With no appointments required, it was hoped that residents who had been putting it off had the chance to get the jab.
Everyone's been very relaxed and happy to come in and just not have to make an appointment, drop in.
The pop-up centres positioned in prominent locations like shopping centres, main streets and town squares to get as much foot traffic as possible. Port Augusta's clinic held in the barracks near Gladstone Square, with on-site staff pleasantly surprised by the number of people coming in.
We've already hit 50 for today, so better than our expectations.
Delicious incentives were also up for grabs, with the Port Augusta Scout Group providing a free barbecue.
Saturday and Sunday we've been here cooking barbecue as part of the COVID vaccine pop-up clinic.
10 different scouts volunteering their time to keep the barbecue running, saying they had given out over 170 sausages over the weekend.
They love their cooking and barbecues. Some have been eating more than what they've been cooking, but it's been a great weekend.
It's been lovely to have the sausages and a nice environment.
Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Meanwhile, the South Australian tourism industry is calling for certainty from the state government surrounding its COVID-19 reopening roadmap. It follows recent figures showing the industry is coming off its worst quarter since the beginning of the pandemic.
An industry on its knees. The Tourism Industry Council of South Australia pleading with the state government to open state borders once 80% vaccination has been reached.
Much like to see a date that the government announces as part of the roadmap, so it'll give certainty for these businesses to plan their way out of the challenges that they faced.
The latest data showing the once record-breaking $8.1 billion industry was worth only $5.8 billion at the end of June. A lack of certainty set to be crippling the industry.
Certainty has been one of the biggest casualties for the business community throughout COVID, and we're very much asking for the government to look at what they can do to give that certainty back to business.
South Australia's peak tourism body saying it's a grim first.
The industry has never seen anything like this previously over the last several decades. We've never seen anything like it. So it's been the toughest period we've ever seen in the tourism industry.
In a statement, a state government spokesperson says South Australia's COVID-ready plan will be revealed in the coming weeks. Announcements have been made recently to ensure the state system is COVID-ready. TIXA CEO saying Air Peninsula tour operators have been hit hard.
Tour operators across the Eyre Peninsula have felt it incredibly hard. They look after international and interstate visitors.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
And South Australia has finalised COVID rules around the Broken Hill border bubble. On the New South Wales side, it only includes the Broken Hill LGA and Coburn. Anyone who has been outside that area in the 14 days prior will not be able to enter SA. Locals must also have had at least one COVID shot. But a new COVID case was identified in Broken Hill today, the first in more than 2 weeks. Surveillance testing continues for those who have no symptoms. The New South Wales Water Minister has visited the Far West as the government rescopes the Menindee Lakes project. While at least one idea doesn't have the backing of locals, Melinda Pavey says no project will go ahead without community support.
You were right, Melinda Pavey admitting the state government should have listened better.
A lot of what they'd wanted in the past has fallen on deaf ears because there was an unrealistic goal of water savings out of Menindee Lakes.
The Minister and Department officials meeting with local stakeholders at Moreton Boolkah on Saturday as the reset button is pressed on water-saving projects in the Murray-Darling Basin. Dubbed Better Barker, the Minister says the new plan, built on infrastructure, could be cheaper but improve the system's health.
We will still work to get water savings and better environmental outcomes. We'll continue to send More water down to South Australia.
For Menindee, that could mean a fish outlet at Lake Wetherall and changes to Weir 32. A cultural facility and sealing of Main Weir Road also on the table. But some say without connectivity, infrastructure won't make a difference.
Water is key. Without water, we have nothing. We have no life. We don't have a lake system or a river system. So engineering is secondary to actually having a healthy river basin.
While a proposed pipeline through culturally sensitive land to Lake Corndilla seems certain not to get much local support.
This is our biggest culture and heritage sites right along where we are now, and to destroy them it'll be pretty heartbreaking.
One thing is certain, while the lakes are full and the river flows, both sides are keen to come to an agreement. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Moving on to today's other news now, and police in Whyalla have arrested a 54-year-old man following an alleged arson incident at a motel over the weekend. Emergency services were called to Playford Avenue on Sunday morning in response to reports of rubbish bins on fire. Crews were able to extinguish the flames, which caused damage to a nearby compressor. The man was later arrested, charged with arson, and was also refused bail. Still to come tonight, locals urged to prepare for warmer weather over the next 2 days. And 2 golf drivers caught allegedly speeding and drink driving. Welcome back. Parts of the Spencer Gulf will experience higher temperatures for tomorrow and Wednesday. Authorities are encouraging residents to take care of their health during the heat spike, with landowners urged to be aware of all the fire risks.
The heat is on for the next 2 days. With only 2 months until summer rolls through, parts of the Spencer Gulf will experience higher than normal temperatures.
So on Tuesday, Wednesday, we're expecting temperatures to increase to about 8 to 10 degrees above average, reaching into the 30-degree mark there.
The cause? Northerly winds which will pass through the Eyre Peninsula. Showers and thunderstorms also likely to develop on the back of those heavy winds.
In spring, we can see some quite changeable weather where you typically get some quite warm days ahead of a front, and then it drops down by, sometimes 10 degrees behind the front.
SA Health has general advice for people to follow during spells of hot weather, including drinking water regularly, staying indoors with a fan or air conditioner, and avoiding going out during the hottest part of the day. People also asked to keep an eye on the elderly or other vulnerable people. Meanwhile, the Country Fire Service is asking land and property owners to prepare themselves and minimise the risk of fire due to the heat.
If you haven't already prepared your property, now would be a really good time to do so. Clearing away leaf matter out of gutters around your house, making sure you've got nice clear areas around your home.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A Port Neal man was caught allegedly driving more than 70 kilometres over the speed limit at Port Neal on Friday. Just after 9 p.m, police say a 4-wheel drive was detected travelling at 183 kilometres an hour in a 110 zone on the Lincoln Highway. The 46-year-old Port Neal driver allegedly recorded a blood alcohol reading of 0.169. He was issued with a 12-month instant loss of licence, and his vehicle was impounded for 28 days. Meanwhile, an alleged speeding drink driver was nabbed at Saddleworth, said to be travelling at 116 kilometres an hour in a 100 zone. Just before 4 on Thursday afternoon, police were conducting speed detection duties when they clocked a light truck travelling 16 kilometres over the speed limit. Police stopped the 37-year-old driver, who allegedly returned a positive reading of 0.109. He was reported for both offences and issued with a 6-month loss of licence. He'll appear in court at a later date. Tenders are now open for planning studies into several road projects across the Spencer Gulf to improve freight connections. Included in the announcement, a study to look at upgrading the Eyre Highway from the Western Australia border to Port Augusta.
Improving the safety and connectivity of the state's major freight routes. Tenders now open for a series of planning studies to investigate improvements to major transport corridors in the Spencer Gulf.
We've got already over $1 billion committed in Graham. We're seeing the works like Port Augusta, Port Wakefield, the Eyre Highway, and I see the pegging started on the duplication of the Augusta Highway. There's stuff going on everywhere.
The states and federal governments want business cases for several projects, including those in the Eyre Peninsula and the far north, investigating whether to allow triple road trains on the Eyre Highway between the WA border and Port Augusta also on the cards.
One of the things about road trains is they have been getting bigger, not necessarily longer, but bigger, but more compact.
The member for Grey emphasising the need for an Adelaide freight bypass, saying economic expansion will be possible through the corridor which passes through his electorate.
That will necessarily come through the electorate of Grey, so I'm very interested, just where it might go and what communities it might affect and how they're going to find the best path through.
In a statement, Transport Minister Corey Wingard says the studies are crucial to understand how the freight routes are being used. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. A prospectus released to attract more Sydney-siders to Broken Hill. And a quirky old train carriage turned Airbnb opens for guests on the Eyre Peninsula. Hello again. RDA Far West has unveiled its new prospectus, hoping to draw more Sydney-siders to the Silver City. Affordable housing, short commutes and a fierce local sports scene, seen as the biggest draw cards to entice people to the outback.
Hoping to show West is best. Stunning landscapes and small town living, a far cry from the hustle and bustle of city life.
The far west of New South Wales is the best area and the best location to live.
The prospectus updated for the first time in 5 years. It'll be placed in local accommodation and given to people planning to move to the region.
It's what you make it, it's a lifestyle, it's 10 minutes from home, 10 minutes to work, and 10 minutes to most places throughout the far west when you live in the metropolitan areas.
The key selling point to attract people from the East Coast is housing prices. The report showing the median price of a 3-bedroom home is just $135,000 with backyards instead of courtyards.
You go into those homes, go into a lot of the real estate agents in Broken Hill. Visit their websites, have a look at the quality of the homes.
This document is about breaking perceptions around the far west, showing city slickers they can enjoy a quality education, top-class sporting and dining facilities, and as borders reopen, easy access to 3 states.
Once you come to Broken Hill, you may leave Broken Hill, but Broken Hill will never leave you.
Lachlan Ittis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Situated on top of a hill in the middle of a paddock, an Eyre Peninsula couple has transformed an old train. The early 1900s carriage, now the region's newest and most unique accommodation space.
Nestled between the native vegetation looking out towards Mount Greenley, the Greenley carriage, the latest listing on Airbnb.
There's not really any accommodation where we are, so we always thought that was a bit of an opportunity for us.
The carriage is the brainchild of Luke and Tara Rowe, situated on their property in Coulter, around an hour's drive from Port Lincoln. The couple wanting to share their slice of paradise with visitors.
We have lived on our farm for about 7 years and we love the area and we just feel really connected to it and wanted to share it with other people.
Sustainability at the core of the home, with locally sourced timber cladding a feature of the build.
Being off the grid is something we had to do and wanted to do, so it is completely powered by the sun and we collect all our own water.
The build also receiving $30,000 from the SATC Tourism Industry Development Fund.
They've been incredibly supportive along the way for us and yeah, we're really grateful for that grant.
And when asked if there are more projects on the horizon.
Definitely not. We are done. I think we're just going to put our feet up now and have a bit of a break.
Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Flinders View hockey grounds in Port Augusta have been labelled as overgrown and unplayable. With many keen local players at the ready, they're appealing to the state government to help find a better home for a new league.
These grounds laying dormant for more than 15 years. Port Augusta hockey players have never stopped trying to revive their once thriving league.
We had 12 women's teams, 6 men's teams, 4 junior teams.
2002 was the last time the league played at Flinders View hockey grounds in Port Augusta. Once maintained by the Department of Education and the Port Augusta City Council, the grounds are now unrecognisable. The players say it has deteriorated to the point that Hockey SA could no longer provide insurance for the players due to the unsafe conditions.
And they did not maintain this, and it became unplayable because the sprinklers were not maintained.
The old wounds set aside for a new optimistic outlook. Port Augusta players forced to play in Port Pirie and Whyalla, planning to return to the city, and asked the state government to help revive the league.
We're going to bring it up to the local member of the parliament, or maybe the independent member from Port Pirie, to help us to bring hockey back into Port Augusta.
The member for Stewart acknowledging the absence of hockey, saying he's excited players are passionate to get the league back.
But let me be very clear, every sport deserves support from council and state and federal government.
Spencer Golf News reached out to Port Augusta City Council, who were unable to make a comment at this time. Edward McCarroll, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have the scores and highlights from weekend cricket. And Alex Sykes will join us with the weather. I'll see you again soon. Welcome back. The cricket season is well and truly underway across parts of our region, with round 2 in Port Pirie seeing 2 great games over the weekend. Our reporter Katrina Musson has this week's cricket wrap.
Round 2 of Port Pirie cricket did not disappoint, with Props having a comfortable 3-wicket win over Port Germain at Globe Oval. Port Germain batted first and found themselves in early trouble at 3 for 7. From there, they never got on top of the Props bowlers, eventually finishing on 8 for 125. Zach Hutchinson top scoring with 48, not out. In reply, Props made short work of their run chase, securing the win with 8 overs to spare. Props' Randall Wyatt scored 41 at the top of the order, and Ben Brown seeing his side home with an unbeaten 22. In the other match, Wandera batted first and found scoring difficult, finishing their innings at 6 for 113. Andrew Congdon top scoring for Wandies with 47. Southport in reply were in the box seat at 2 for 69, but a batting collapse which saw them lose 9 for 21 to be bowled out for 90. Jake Walsh top scored for Southport with 37, while for Wandies it was Paddy McNamara who done the damage with the ball taking 4 for 16. Wandera defeating Southport by 23 runs. In the first round of Port Augusta cricket, and Central Stirling batted first against West Augusta. Central Stirling setting a target of 150 to win, with West skittled in the end for just 84, losing by 65 runs. In the other match, Quorn decided to bat first, a decision they'd come to regret. South Augusta have little trouble in their innings, winning the match by 7 wickets. Over to Whyalla, and in the first game, Rapina batted first, making a competitive 7 for 178. West Whyalla never getting close to chasing it down, Rapina winning the match by 106 runs. In the other game, North Whyalla served a thumping to Central Whyalla to win the match by 189 runs. And finally, in Port Lincoln, and Waybacks were too strong for Todd River. Waybacks batted first, with Todd River unable to reach the target, going down by 98 runs. And the other match saw Charlton secure a 39-run win over Southern Air. And that's all for cricket. We'll be back tomorrow night with a wrap-up of the region's other sports.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather with Alex Sykes. And like Mark mentioned earlier, temperatures are heating up across the Gulf.
Yeah, that's right, Ruby. It will certainly be t-shirt and short weather over the next couple of days. We got a little taste of that heat wave today with sunny conditions right across the Gulf. From 3 p.m, Port Augusta was 27 degrees, Whyalla was 23 and Port Lincoln reached 18. Looking further out across the region now, Broken Hill and Coffin Bay were 21 degrees. Port Pirie was 26, Woodner was 28, Kadina and Cleve were both 25, Clare was 20 and Cooper Pedy was 29. Our friends in Adelaide got to 18. Taking a look at the satellite image now, mostly cloud-free over South Australia today under the influence of a high-pressure system. Onshore winds in the far southeast bringing the only areas of cloud around Mount Gambier. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. East to southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas 1 to 1.5 metres and south to southwesterly swell 1 metre. Port Lincoln will be mostly sunny and 31, Cleve sunny and 35, and Woodna will be very hot and 37. Whyalla and Port Augusta will both be sunny and reach 35 degrees there. Kadina also sunny and 33. Port Pirie to reach 35. It's set to be 30 degrees in Clare, and Broken Hill will reach 28 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, those sunny conditions will be gone by Wednesday, but the heat will remain. Port Augusta will have a shower or two and afternoon dust. Broken Hill mostly sunny and 34. Port Lincoln a shower or two and a possible storm, wind easing in Whyalla. Those showers continue into Thursday. Port Augusta and Woodna with a shower or two to reach 32. Cooper Pedy partly cloudy and 37. Showers and a possible storm in Broken Hill, 30 degrees. Port Lincoln will be at 22. Sunny in Cooper Pedy on Friday, some showers in Port Pirie, Port Lincoln, Whyalla and Kadina, partly cloudy in Port Augusta, Woodna and Broken Hill. So that's all the weather from me for tonight. It's back to you, Ruby.
Lovely, thanks for that, Alex. And that's our local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.